My guest for today is Rose Newland, and yes, she is related, and yes, she is my daughter. I have her on the show not because she's my daughter, but because she's a young person and therefore she has a particular point of view that I thought might be interesting. So Rose, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am 23 years old. I am a filmmaker and a graphic designer, and I make stupid YouTube videos that you should check out.
Definitely.
I'm currently trying to get a job in the film and TV industry, which is taking forever. And yeah, that's me right now. And I just went to Europe for like most of the year.
Yeah, and if you check out my YouTube travelling vlog channel, you will see some of our escapades because I went and joined her for some of that time. So Rose, what happiness hint have you got for us today?
Well, I have a few. I used to hate exercise, but since I am currently unemployed and I have a lot of time on my hands, I've noticed that the days I don't exercise, I am pretty miserable as compared to the days when I do exercise, when I feel a lot better and like I've actually sort of accomplished something in the day, and like even just like not a full workout. It doesn't have to be a full workout if you don't like exercise, just like going for a walk and moving your energy, doing some star jumps, dancing like a crazy person, you know, anything like that.
Star jumps,
That's fine.
Yeah, right. Like, you know, I
Moving your energy.
do some star jumps, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the main one. Have you got any others?
That's the main one. The other one is cats. Specifically for me, cats, but you know, whichever animal is your preferred pet, I highly recommend having one because they're pretty cute, and like if you love them, they can bring you a lot of happiness.
Right. So
as long as they hug you back.
Yeah, there's something about stroking a furry animal, patting animals. It's quite good for endorphins, apparently.
And dogs are happy all the time as well.
Cats purring is also very good for our health.
I recorded some of the cats purring on my phone before I went overseas, and when I felt homesick, I played it, and it helped me go to sleep.
Apparently the vibration is quite good for healing. So thank you, Rose. Those are two very kind of practical, down-to-earth tips that can be useful. I certainly agree with both of them. And what about a happiness hurdle? Have you got something personally that crops up for you that gets in the way of your happiness?
Yes, I fall in holes a lot. Which is
Don't I know it?
a metaphor, an analogy from a short film I read from an excellent acclaimed author, Tahlia Newland.
And the story is?
About a guy called Norris who keeps falling in a hole on his way to work.
It's called a hole in the pavement.
That's what I said.
So you better tell the listeners what you mean by falling in a hole.
Basically, you just get miserable for like no apparent reason, and then it's like hard to get out of that misery. I'm sure everyone has the same kind of feeling. We just, in our family, we call it falling down a hole. Recently, because I'm unemployed, it kind of feels like I'm sort of throwing my resume and everything like into blank space, and just sort of it's just getting sucked into the void. So there's a lot of like hopelessness associated with not getting any kind of response, and feeling like my life is going nowhere. So doing like exercise every day, and like having cats and family around, and like having a routine and accomplishing something every day is kind of helping that. But yeah, it's amazing how different a day can be depending on your mood.
So if you do fall in a hole, I mean, obviously your exercise and all the things you talked about
It doesn't always help though.
well, presumably you are doing those things to help you stop falling in a hole. But when you do fall in a hole, and you kind of, obviously you plummet down, how do you get yourself out?
Variety of ways. Often the days I do fall in a hole is when I haven't done any exercise. So I'll go for a walk, or just like do something completely different that I don't usually do. Like the other day I was really miserable and I scooped algae out of the pond.
Which is very helpful.
You know, yeah, but it's like, it's not something I'd intended to do, but it was just sort of like something else to do to get my mind off the crappiness in my head.
So you try...
Sometimes it takes a while though. Sometimes I just like enjoy being miserable for a bit and just being useless.
You wrestle with your gimp.
Yeah.
Now that might sound like...
That's another one I was going to get.
What is this lady talking about? Well, in my Diamond Peak series, I have gimps, which are like little demons who follow you around. So when you are kind of angry, you get an angry gimp who has a red face and races along after you. And so if you wrestle with one of those gimps, then that's like when you just like to roll around in your emotions rather than looking at it directly going, hey, I'm angry, fine, okay, that's it, let's go somewhere else. So wrestling with the gimp is another metaphor. It's a metaphor for kind of rolling around in your misery, and, you know, sometimes we just like to do that for a bit before we're ready to move on, yeah? Personally, I find the quicker I can just drop it, the better, really, but I'm not too keen on being miserable. Do you think you like being miserable sometimes?
No, I don't like being miserable, but I enjoy the excuse to not do anything. So at the moment, my happiness is very based on my productivity.
Ah, well, there you go. See, you don't need an excuse. If you don't want to do anything, just don't do anything. I don't feel like doing anything today. I don't have to be miserable in order to not do anything today.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. What about a hero? Do you have a happiness hero?
Yes, my mother, Tahlia Newland.
Really?
No, she didn't make me say that.
No.
That sounded like she made me say that, but it didn't. Because she's like hardly ever miserable, and every time I'm miserable, because sometimes I do enjoy just kind of wallowing around in my misery, she's always just like, no, get out, like, you know how to do this, get out, like, tries to, like, immediately just be like, and help me out, but a lot of the time I'm just like, meh.
Not ready to get out yet, Mum.
Yeah.
Actually, I do get miserable.
You can always see the positive side
Yeah.
to a situation. Like, I used to have, like, I had teachers at school who would do things, and they'd just be like, oh, they gave us this terrible assignment to do, and like they did this to the class, and then they said this to me, and she was like, oh, but that's an amazing learning opportunity, oh my goodness, you should be so excited about that. And I'd be like, Mom, take my side, just like it's a crappy thing to have to do, alright? Just, you know, you're like that person, Eric Idle in Monty Python's Life of Brian, who's being crucified and gets everyone singing.
That's
crosses.
That's
her.
And what does he sing?
He sings Always Look on the Bright Side of Life, which I'm not singing.
How does that go?
No, you can't trick me into singing.
Do you have a happiness quote?
Water, if you don't stir it, will become clear.
In the same manner.
Mind left unaltered will rest in its natural great peace.
And what does that mean?
If you don't keep thinking about your negative thoughts and just let them go, they'll disappear.
And do you manage to do that sometimes when you've got crazy...
Sometimes.
When you've got negative thoughts going around and around and around and making you busy?
Yeah. I'm a lot better at, like, helping other people to, like, do that and be like, you're just repeating this to yourself. Like, and I tell them advice, but then it's harder to take it yourself. Always. It always is.
Yeah, I guess. Thank you, Rose. That was most enlightening. And, yeah, thank you for being on the show with me today.
That's okay.
And you want to show your beautiful hat? If you want a gorgeous hat
and
like
that's
this.
the actual colour that it is.
If you want to have a look at more of my hats
it's
and
even got
masks,
glasses on it.
just pop over to tahliasmasks.com. Rose has got a YouTube channel with fabulous stuff on it, so subscribe to that. The one thing that has made the most difference to the level of happiness in my life is meditation. And to help you make meditation part of your life, I have a free guided meditation on MP3 that you can pick up at tahlianewland.com/guided-meditation. Also take a look at the bookshop at tahlianewland.com.
Look out for How to Meditate Easily, Effectively and Deeply on ebook, audiobook and paperback. And also check out my award-winning fiction. I write real magic, stories with the power to transform. You've been watching Happiness Hints, hosted by Tahlia Newland with music by Rose Newland. Want to be a guest on the show? Fill out the form at happinesshints.com. And if you enjoyed this happiness hint, don't miss the next one. They come out every week on YouTube, iTunes, Podbean and Stitcher. And don't forget to subscribe to the show. Please like this episode and share with your friends. And to make sure that the happiness hints keep coming, please consider being a patron. Every dollar helps. Thank you.